very good morning to you. Welcome. It's good to know that you're still with us on this morning on ITV. I'm Philip Omo Gupon, and today happens to be May 1st, Workers' Day. And with that, we say Happy Workers' Day to you all workers. No matter what, we ensure that we will get there at the right time, and we'll be able to smile at the end of the day when it comes to issues relating to workers' welfare. Well, discussing a very vital issue, we talk about President Buhari's visit to Donald Trump, and that was yesterday. And also, we'll look at other issues relating to workers. Starting with me on this note, from my extreme left, I have a political analyst, Frank Ehiosu. Many thanks for coming, Frank. And next, I have a legal practitioner, a doctor. He's no one else but Dr. Patrick Awosage. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's
Dr.
pleasure.
Patrick Awosage is also a legal practitioner. Good to have you.
It's my pleasure.
And next, I have a clergyman, a public affairs analyst, the general overseer of Sword of Liberation Bible Church, Bishop Austin Igbasan. Many thanks for coming, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, good morning, sir.
Well, let me start with you, Bishop Austin Igbasan. Today is May 1, and what's your view in respect of the observance of the day as Workers' Day globally?
I think it's a time to look at the welfare of the workers. Is to look at what are the things that the workers are going through. I think it's not about fanfare, it's about looking at these people that are these people that are working, that the engine room of government. How are they faring? How is the government having serious impact on them? Okay. So those are the areas we should look at, not really dancing around, but we should look at these people that are working. What is it that is their benefit? The Bible says a laborer is worthy of his wages. And they must not be denied of the benefit, because if we look at what we are paying the Nigerian workers today, is something, what we say take home cannot even take them out of their office, the take home. So we should look at it, and a view of the recent increase in fuel. The fuel price was increased, the salary of the workers are not increased.
Okay, I know you have a lot to say in that respect.
So those are the areas we need to look at.
Yes, I just wanted you to make a brief summary.
Okay.
I know a lot has to be said on that, but when it gets to that point, we could take more. Okay. Festus, Patrick, I always call you Festus, sorry about that. Patrick Awosage, what's your viewpoint as regards observance of today as Workers' Day?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Philip. It's a time to really reflect on so many things on the part of both the hirer and those that are being hired, from the government that employ labor, from those in private practice and acts that also have people working for them. It's a two-way thing, and I honestly believe that every laborer is worthy of his wage. But again, we have also seen over time that the attitude, this lackadaisical attitude on the part of the workers too. You see, when you are working, you work honestly and sincerely. A lot of us, or a lot of people, don't really put in the best or put in so much, and they want to get salaries. All they work for is the pay. Give me the pay, and at the end, then I'm okay. Yes, the pay is mega, but you must justify your pay, and that's on the part of the worker. They should see it not just going to get the pay, or the pay is mega. I have heard someone said, how much are they paying me? I said, you are supposed to stand to attend to people in a particular office. And I said, yes. I said, overseas, you don't see this. He said, they pay them well.
Okay.
But the fact they don't pay you well shouldn't mean you shouldn't do the right work or do the right thing at time.
Thank you, Patrick. Frank, I wonder why always in terms of issues coming up relating to workers, wages happen to dominate. What do you think about that?
Of course, wages must dominate. If we go by the provision of scripture, wages happen that money answers all things. Of course, that is the synonym for wage. The currency of the universe, in terms of interaction at the value, of course, money is core. So if you're talking about workers' issues, wage is the pivot as far as such line of discourse is concerned.
Okay.
Well, in my kind of opinion, I think in the long run, what matters is justice in the process. You say in human history, the greatest threat to any sphere and every sphere is when there's a perception of injustice. So justice would come from the standpoint of their wage, possibly from the standpoint of diligence in duty, in terms of carrying out their work.
Yes.
Equally in the area of those who even employ them.
Okay.
In response to issues raised from that angle, all spheres, there has to be balance as far as the interests of workers are concerned.
Okay, thank you. Well, like some will say, the kingdom of Nigeria suffers inflation, and the Nigerian workers are taken in by force by demanding for an increase in minimum wage. Well, we'll discuss all of that at the tail end. But let's look at the visits of President Buhari to the United States, meeting with the President, Donald Trump, the President of America. And we're going to be showing you a clip of what the intro in terms of President Buhari's meeting with Donald Trump is about 3 minutes clip. And after that, we'll come back discussing this.
For it. The problem about the cattle rearers and herders in Nigeria is a very long historical thing. But the states most concerned, they knew that the Nigerian herders never carried anything more than a stick and occasionally a machete to cut down foliage and give it to their animals. These ones are carrying AK-47. So I don't think people should underrate what happened in Libya. 43 years of Gaddafi, people were recruited from the Sahel. They were taught nothing other than to shoot and kill. With the demise of Gaddafi, they moved to their countries and to their regions, and they carried away with them the only experience they have and training, using weapons. And that's what is aggravating the situation. We are doing our best to make sure we have stopped the cross borders and so on, and to get the weapons, proliferation, small arms weapons in the region checked. But it's going to take time, and the action by United States in trying to see the end of ISIS has helped us a lot, because the Boko Haram in Nigeria at one time made a statement that they were loyal to ISIS. Now that ISIS have virtually gone with the help of the United States, we are very grateful for that. And we are sure that we are stabilizing the situation of security in Nigeria.
We have very much decimated ISIS. Much has taken place over the last 12 months. But Boko Haram has been terrible. And how did you do with the young women that were kidnapped? How is that going?
The Chibok girls and the Dafchi one. The Chibok one was before we came, 2014. We had only a number of them. We recovered about 30 of them. But the Dafchi one, there are 106 that were kidnapped. We got 100 back. 4 died. 1 is still held in captivity. And we are very grateful to the United Nations organization that is acting as in between us and the kidnappers. And we haven't given up. We are trying to get everybody back to join their families and their schools.
A terrible problem. Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Buhari, visited Donald Trump, the President of America, yesterday, and they engaged on issues like what reports have it, which was centered on security, economic, and corruption issues. And look at that. There could be some issues arising. I want to start with you first, Bishop Austin Igbasa. Looking at the issues arising where it has been referred in the past where Donald Trump, the president of America, made derogatory terms to African countries. And just now we are seeing possible outcomes that this visit of the president to Donald Trump could yield out positive results in the area of economy, security, and fighting corruption. What do you make of this? Do you see such enhancement coming up soon?
Definitely, there is none of the African leaders can rule without wanting to have an alliance with America. And with what the man has said, like I said about Donald Trump, he's made some statements like African as he told.
We mustn't use that word.
No, what I mean is that
made some derogatory terms to African countries.
Those statements that were made, eventually, when he wants to make appointments, Yoruba man was one of the first people he appointed in America when he came into power. Ogunleye, he appointed him and he said, what you have done, the track record you have done in business, I want you to bring it to bear in America. So I think the relationship between U.S. and America will bring a lot of good things to Nigeria. Number one, it will help our economy, and also in the area of security. I think there's going to be some level of assistance if really Nigeria is calling for assistance. So, because you can also meet someone and may not tell the person you needed an assistance. I think where we have in our security network in Nigeria, we had to ask for help. And America is one of the countries that can stretch forth their hand of help, either in training of our security apparatus and also in equipments and other areas. So I feel that the visit is going to generate some things. It's just about what is presented in the course of the visit and the area of discussion, and being open enough to say, okay, we are overwhelmed with what we are going through and we needed an assistance.
Okay, Patrick, let's look at some statement made by President Donald Trump,
yes,
where he was like reading a riot act to the Nigerian government, where he said, killings of Christians is unacceptable to the American government. Some see this as a separatist move.
Well, thank you very much. The American people that voted him in, they know who they have voted in. And it's been obvious that he had not distanced himself from that position. You can't take him from that. He had even said, I don't want to see the Muslim folks around. I want to send them out of this place. He attempted, though the system will not permit him.
Yes.
So for you to now think he would change from what he had said or what he is, he wouldn't. And that's who he is. And the people love him that way. So, but if we must look at it globally, we don't think that is the right way to go. You should not judge people or rate them based on their religious affiliation.
After all, Muslims were also killed in the process.
Obviously.
We've seen reports where mosques were bombed.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't support that part of him, but that is what he is. You cannot change a man from what he is or for who he is, and that is what he represents. But what really baffled me is that I would have expected lovely president to, put some words like that to him. He is a very senior leader in the Muslim circle. Should have also tried to see. We don't generalize. Islam have nothing to do with terrorism. You shouldn't see us. I expected at that standpoint. Yeah, being the president also, you also lead and you champion the cause of your people in the Islamic circle. You should have also made him to see light in this, that I'm the president of the country. I'm not a jihadist. I'm not a terrorist, like you see. I fight terrorism. We are fighting and we are all collaborating efforts to do so. But I didn't see it, talk like that coming up, sitting from our president. I think that is for him. So that the perception of a man like Donald J. Trump will start changing. That, you could have Muslims who are not terrorists. You could have Muslims who don't give into jihad movement and all of that. We have seen several of our Muslim brothers, friends, doing so well, responsible, dignified people. So the fact that I'm Muslim doesn't mean I'm a terrorist. Just like you say I'm black, it doesn't mean I'm wrong. Okay. That's what we should start talking about. This separatist move, most of the time, is not genuine. is actually to satisfy certain political interests and to push certain points through, but it's not really from the heart of heart. And that is what we should not encourage. Donald J. Trump has been wrong for saying so, and we don't accept it.
Okay, like some will say that the president could be playing politics with Nigeria, looking at the aspect where the top diplomat, Rex Tillerson, who was in paying visits to African countries, and in Nigeria, when he got to Nigeria, just got fired. The trip was cut short while he was in the country, and later on got fired. Can we take the seriousness of Donald Trump in really ensuring that we have great partnership in terms of doing business and also fighting terrorism? Frank?
Of course. The fact that Donald Trump, like every other president, have their peculiar idiosyncrasies.
Yes.
It doesn't remove from the symbol of nationalism, even though he's now the president that projects it. So I think there's a difference between those two factors. If there's an accord, of course it must become hybrid. In my kind of opinion, even though I was impressed by my friend's assertion,
Yes.
President Buhari's response on that occasion, for me, was more it in the context that Donald Trump is Donald Trump, like you said. Even Americans, the entire American institution is not able to change its perspective on even their local issues. You hear his campaign against the media in America. Now that campaign is an affront on the First Amendment that is revered in the whole of America. The Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the Abraham Lincolns, the greatest of presidents of America, they did their best to ensure that such is prioritized because it's vital for the survival of democracy. And Donald Trump, as their president, on and on and on, keeps making a mess of it. So what do you expect from that standpoint? It will be, in my opinion, foolhardy for President Buhari to be trying to create a unique impression by addressing one factor out of multifarious factors I referenced. So he gave a general response to the extent that our military, they are addressing it, there's more attention paid to the issues of human rights. You can't correct a man's perception that is built over 70 years in 5 minutes of press interviews. So in my opinion, I think Buhari's response was, like I said, it was it.
Okay.
I don't think I could put it beyond that. It was good. It suffices at that point.
Okay.
Donald Trump's agreement, the detail of the agreement, fortunately, may not be equally expressed in the public domain. Of course, the fact that this press conference does not mean that everything they are discussed behind the scene will be brought to the public.
Okay.
So whatever it is, of course, will be about.
Your seat were pushed out. If you remember vividly, you know that before election, because Chadian soldiers were brought in to team up with our own soldiers, and they went in, though they lost some of their men and we lost some of our men, but they were able to recover this major city. The major city will recover few minutes to the last election. And you hear people come on television and say, none of our, this thing is under Boko Haram territory. It's a lie from the pit of hell. It's a lie from the pit of hell. Quote me. Most of the big places were recovered before 2015.
Okay. Patrick, I want your analysis on this comparatively, looking at past administration and the present, in terms of decimating the Boko Haram sect.
Well, trying to look at both administration, and I would call both low, in the sense that, you know, when the Muhammadu Buhari's administration was coming, and the campaign talk was, I will personally fight. I will do all it takes, you know, to ensure this is ameliorated and done with. But as it stands, it's still the same old story. Like, I want to subscribe totally to what Bishop had said. You see, it's not acquiring these hardwares of gadgets, military hardware to fight. The men, how do you take care of them? I think this is a major problem. That's the problem. That's the major issue we have at hand. We need intelligence. There are many things we don't need to run to America to attend to. You know, when the local vigilantes are being sensitize everybody to know, and know that you need to be a neighbor's keeper and watch around, ensuring this. The Boko Haram, they're spirits. The headsmen killers are their spirits. Are they not human beings?
Okay.
These are issues we should look at. But
while you continue, you made mention of the fact that you score both low.
Yes.
But let's look at the aspect where before the present administration of Buhari, there were communities seized by the Boko Haram sect.
Yes.
And when the administration kicked off, these communities were liberated.
Okay.
How do you see that?
Liberated. Okay, what happened now to Benue? What happened to Zamfara? What's happened?
Is it being captured by the Boko Haram sect?
When you say not captured, even if we don't use such word, captured, look at who runs the town, who controls, what's happening there. We could see the senseless killing all going around. And then I want to conclude by saying that it's captured. You may not have to use the word captured. When senseless killing is going, there's breakdown of law and order, no arrest is being made. The agitation now is that, oh, they are foreigners, they are foreign headsmen that have come into the country. Nobody knows how they came in. The immigration is there sitting down. The DSS and all whatnot, all the parts of government, they are there, and they are killing people. Nigerians are being killed on a daily basis. So what's the difference? What are we trying to do? Is it to capture or reclaim or say we have come back, now we are here? And the guys, they are still doing what they are doing. At a time, Sambisa Forest was said to be a training zone for the military, that you can go and have some time with the soldiers there in Sambisa Forest. But what's happening? That Boko Haram have been defeated at some point. Later it was technically defeated, and now we are now seeing them playing their third leg match. You know, these are issues that we need to ask, that begging for answers. Why is the government not doing the needful? If you ask me why do I use such word? Because you cannot tell me some persons are in the country and they are killing your citizens. In South Africa, a Nigerian was killed in 72 hours. He was arrested. The South African that did the killing, that killed Nigerian, was arraigned in court. But here, Nigerians are being killed on a daily basis.
Are you by that saying that
yes?
Are you by that saying that some killings in the country are not being prosecuted in court?
When you have large number of killing,
because you just made an issue of a Nigerian in South Africa.
South Africa,
and
yes.
You are a legal practitioner.
Yes, I do.
And as a custodian of the law,
yes.
Are you saying that there are no litigations in
it's
court?
Not when you arrest someone.
In respect of killings?
Who are those? Who are those that have been arrested in terms of the herdsmen killing?
I'm not particular about the Benue killings or the herdsmen issues.
He's part of Nigeria.
Just as you cited that issue of a Nigerian being killed in South Africa.
Yes.
Are you saying that litigations are not in court in Nigeria?
Litigations have been in court even before this government had come in, even before the past government, there have been litigation. Okay. Is the mode at which, and how does it turn out? When you release some those that ordinarily should be standing trials to exchange for some girls to come back from that Chibok girls to come back, we are releasing their men back to them. We are not having some negotiation with terrorists. What are we talking about? Well, where's justice? Where's justice? Okay, let's come home to the Senate. Some young men barged into the Senate. They went there and picked up the mace. And we saw them on social media. We saw him was wearing some red husband native. Until date, we don't know his whereabouts. He has not been arrested. He went into the Senate. I didn't say he came to my bedroom. He went to Senate, the seat of power, of legislative power in Nigeria. Somebody went in there, and you are telling me, where are the police? Where are the SS? Where's everybody? Where's the military? What's happening? And they are gone away, and nobody have talked about they are being arrested now. And you expect me to believe that something is going. Come on, that's funny. Abacha said it all. He said every insurgency that lasts more than 48 hours, the government of the day is involved. He may be involved in not directly saying, you do this. Just give you some part with that, the drama that played out that he mentioned too at the Benin airport, which is unacceptable, is vicious and very, very funny. Unfounded for the state hold on, sir, for a state governor to be at the scene. The commissioner of police
yes, we are going to treat that. We are going to treat that. But
I'm coming. Let me not
in this context.
No, I'm coming. I'm trying to bring. I'm coming home. This is Nigeria. It's our country. We love our country so much. Now, miscreants are pushing a senator of the Federal Republic, you know, a lawmaker. Come on, it doesn't add up.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. I'll come back to that. Let's look at the aspect where the American government, as headed by Donald Trump, made some score points for the Nigerian government as a result in respect of Buhari's ability in terms of moving the level higher in fighting terrorism in Nigeria. And as underlined, its massive reputation in fighting corruption. Do you fault that judgment, Frank?
Can you make an objection before I come with this line of discussion?
Okay.
In your course of interfacing with the great bishop and my colleague, I was taken aback a little in the sense that the scope of discourse now became omnibus, to the extent that I was getting jittery whether we will not end up discussing about Mahmoud Mawa, popularly referred to as Betesin, as far back as before independence and a little after independence. Discussions must be defined. Otherwise, if the scope is let out, we may end up talking about the antediluvian era, why issues that pertain to what we have now is not being addressed.
Yes.
Because if issues are raised up and there isn't room for other opinions to be put across, it will seem to promote an imbalance. My brother and the great bishop had even brought in the issue of what happened in the airport presently with reference to the state government and the senator and all what have you. Now you are bringing up Donald Trump, issue on terrorism. It would be unfair that they had their views on such issues and they have room to contribute my widow's opinion, when I call it widow's fight or whatever it is. Now, coming back to your question, the narrative is, in my opinion, a bit unfortunate. Boris' visit to the US is great, it's unique. Trump's response is normal. In international diplomacy, all such things are routine. Afterwards, we'll see how the fruits come forth in terms of benefits that are accruable to us as a people.
Yes.
That's what concerns us. President Trump himself came with the slogan, America First. So in all that he's doing is America First. The great bishop was making reference to Trump being a businessman and giving him quite some accolades. I appreciate that, no doubt. But in comparison, I don't stand Trump side by side President Obama. Obama did not have any unique business history. Even now, after the presidency, there's no unique business. He's not a rich man. He doesn't have a house. In fact, the apartment he's living in right now after serving as a banker president for 2 terms. It's a rented apartment, a duplex, 8-bedroom duplex. So the fact that he wasn't rich or he doesn't have the unique business acumen of Donald Trump does not place him at par with Donald Trump in terms of policy making that guarantees peace in the world and the progress of democratic institutions. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who ruled America about 70 years ago, who is credited with the peace the world has enjoyed in the past over 70 years. He wasn't a unique businessman, but he had ideas that gave birth to the strength of the world presently. United Nations. You have NATO. It wasn't business acumen that brought about it. I'm just trying to create a divide that you don't have to be a unique businessman to be a good leader. To be a good leader is your ability to make the right judgment. Yes. You may be poor, you may not have capacity. It's not in contest. I'm not saying I use that in contest.
Okay.
But riches is not the yardstick for it. Now, coming back to that issue, because it has been mentioned, I must say something about it. This should happen at the airport, however unfortunate it is. It speaks to the greater narrative of the skewed Nigerian system that we always complain about. It will be foolhardy, in my candid opinion, to blame even the chief executive. In Nigeria, as it is structured, it is impossible to blame a governor for security lapses. Because our governors are CSOs in theory. In reality, they are not chief security officers. Because the apparatus of the police is skewed in one direction. It is centralized. And that is an abuse of federalism. Going back to what you talked about, even the seeing of the Pmb'S in the Senate. When I saw that happen, it's a big shame the world over, no doubt. Especially when that dimension is the first of its kind. The first time Pmb'S was taken in Nigeria was, I think, sometime May 25, 1962. It was by Ebubedike in the Western Regional Assembly. When Awo then had issues with Tafawa Balewa, they were thinking that there could be some imposition of emergency rule or stuff. So there was crisis. And what did Ebubedike do? He just went to take the Pmb'S for self-defense. He used it to hit the head of Adenike, the then Speaker of the House. That was the first time it happened in Nigerian history. Afterward, in Okadipo's time, Okadipo did something similar because he was scared that OBJ wanted to unseat him from being the Senate president. And he didn't just remove the Pmb'S, he sent it to his village in Anambra to be kept. In fact, he even affirmed that a snake is looking after the Pmb'S.
Okay.
That happened. But in this case, what happened this time around is unfortunate because non-members of the Senate walked in and they got it. I'm driving somewhere.
Yeah, because it appears that you really want us to discuss this because we are digressing. All right.
Okay. If you already gave me for digression, then we must consummate the process to ensure that there's a balance. I am saying that what happened in that Senate, however shameful it is, I'm happy that that thing happened. You know I'm happy. Because it's a wake-up call. Sibon Martin Lipset, in his piece, The Political Man, he affirmed without contradiction that democracy as a system of government stands upon two fundamental pillars, pari passu, the pillar of conflict and the pillar of consensus. For a democracy to thrive, there must be a marriage of conflict and consensus ongoing within the ambit of rule of law. So what you call conflict pertains to disagreement in policy, initiative and stuff. That's, for me, I see it as a conflict that is good for democracy. All this while, the senators, when they were reviewing the constitution, they said no to state police. But immediately after that incident, Ekweremadu, talking to his colleagues,
okay, thank you.
Look at what he said. He said, this is the reason why it is not good to have a centralized police unit. I am happy it's getting to their doorstep, because that centralized police system is a negation of the concept of federalism.
Thank you. I think I've entertained enough that digression, but let's come back to the Nigeria and U.S. relations. Looking at the approval of the sales of those weapons to Nigeria and the president's letter to the National Assembly talking about how it has paid part of the money, $496 million to the American Treasury as part payment. I heard legislative approval. What do you make of that, Bishop?
That's an abuse of office, because like I said, if Mr. A did something and me, Mr. B, I come and I said I want to enforce a change, I think I should not continue in what Mr. A did that makes me to say I want to initiate a change.
In the face of emergency.
In the face of
security urgencies.
It took September.
In the face of the deadline that we must at which pay that amount of money.
Brother, what does
are you considering that?
Between September and February, what emergency are you talking about? And the Tucano you are talking about will never arrive Nigeria until 2020. So how would the Tucano fly from that place and be helping Benue killing and be helping every other thing? Now, we are talking of something that will come 2020, and we want to pay now.
Okay, but for a country fighting terrorism, are you saying that it's not a huge step to be taken?
But what I'm saying is that we will look at what led to this. This is the Constitution. The Constitution is bigger than every person. It's bigger than even insurgency you are talking about. Yeah. It's bigger than every. It controls us. It's a control. This is our own control tower. What stop if we have such an emergency? That shows you that there is a barrier, a wall of partition between legislators and the executive. What does it take the president to call the Senate leadership? We are having an issue that needs emergency. Please, anything you can do. The party control the majority in the legislature. They are the one that is executive. What stopped the president of calling them and say, ladies and gentlemen, we have an issue at hand. I don't know what you can do. What we can do to fast track this. Look at the timeline we are having. September to February is not an emergency. If it takes September to February, it's not an emergency. It's just about not going through the due process. If I didn't go through a due process, and this is what the Constitution says, will I not be humble enough to say I have done something wrong?
But the president has been on this. Even the presidency, the executive has been on this in aspect of the $1 billion that needed to be taken from the federal account in fighting terrorism.
That was how many weeks ago that one was mentioned? That was less than 8 weeks ago that the issue of $1 billion came up. $1 billion is less than 8 weeks ago. What I'm saying is that if there is no communication between executive, you don't talk about emergency. There is an emergency, fine. But what we want to buy is coming 2020. What do you mean by emergency? Well, how would that Tucano help us between now and 2019? That is the question I want to ask you now. The Tucano we are paying for now is coming 2020. How is the Tucano going to help us? Is it that when they are manufacturing it there, we will be seeing the effect in Nigeria here? If it is not going to be like that, why don't I follow the Constitution and call the people? The president is APC, the leadership of the legislature is APC. What does it take? If I'm a bishop of a church now, and I call my executive and we talk on issues, even when there's no service, and we have something that come up urgently, I have to call some few persons in the church. I will not call the whole member of the church. I call few persons and say, look at what happened to Sister F. We need to take a decision now. What do we do now? I will sit down. I won't fold my hand and say, okay, as a bishop, I should unilaterally take decision. The money that we are coughing out, is it the president that owns the money? Is it not the commonwealth of everybody? Does he have a unilateral power to release it out? If other presidents have done that in the past, but this market with a slogan of change, and everybody follow suit. That is, we are going to change from the way they used to do it before. That is the essence. So what stopped them? Look at what is the distance between Aso Rock, where President is staying, to where Sharaki is staying. What is the distance? Is democracy not about communication? I'm afraid, because the way we are going in this country, if I have an opportunity, I will live with my children, because the way I see, because you see elderly people who supposed to say, the elderly people who supposed to say the truth, you will see them coming to bend things and say, because this man is my man, because I belong to social party. If my brother in the church committed something many years ago, he was the only organist we have. I fired him for 1 year, and the church was dancing like that without organist, and we have piano there, because I want the church to know that it's not my church, it's the church of Jesus. And if my brother has done something wrong, I will not say, oh, he's a bishop's junior brother, let me use her to rub his head, and he should continue. I stood by the word of God. If we are talking of change, and the Constitution said before any money is spent, it must be appropriated by this executive legislature, even though if I don't like Saraki face, I will have to you are a father of all. For goodness sakes, not everybody in church now that believe me. It's not everybody in my church that obey me, but they are all my children. And I should call them together, because I have a place I'm taking them to, which is heaven. And I should see them as my children and be able to relate with them.
Thank you, Bishop Bosanigwaza. You spoke much about if you have the opportunity, you would have moved with your children.
By the grace of God.
I know you're not talking. You're not referring to your biological children alone.
Yes, I would have gone with my church member.
All right. And I know you are not also referring to your church members alone.
Yes.
We are also by the grace of God. I like, no, it's going to be the entire citizens of this country. So, but that shouldn't be the way forward, because we must be.
Well, elderly people are behaving like Biggie, and then we tell
but you are a custodian of the law, Patrick. Let's look at it this way, where the president is faced with options. And in the heat of terrorism, and in the beat and strong appetite to win in this fight, take up such an action ahead of legislative approval. Is anything wrong there?
Absolutely
Looking
wrong.
at the legal aspect.
Very wrong. It's an abuse of...
Looking at the discretionary powers given to the president.
Yes, it's wrong. It's very wrong, in the sense that...
Should all executive decisions always go through due process?
Such fundings...
In the face of emergency?
I agree that he could, this, when you said in the face of emergency, the word emergency will be defined.
Looking at the deadline.
Well, looking at deadline.
At which the payment must be made.
I agree with you. This, it is a democracy. It's been said that is, one of the demerits of democracy is that, decisions are not easily reached. We bargain for it. We know what democracy is. So we cannot be talking of emergency.
So you see that as a setback?
No.
As a bottleneck system?
No, that's what
Setting
we're taught. Hold on. That's what we're taught. That's what we read from the books. One of the demerits of it, that decision cannot be fastly reached, as it were. But the point I want to make, when you say, well, deadline or what, are they all existing in vacuum? Are they not working together in synergy? We have the lawmaking body, we have the legislative body, the Senate, we have all these parts of government all around together. If you want to do anything, you could reach them, no matter, it may not be a formal meeting, you understand? And if they see the need and the urgency, they are Nigerians too. They are going to come together. So the point is, there are cases you could just quickly, call for sittings and plenaries and, decide to quickly attend to issues. You don't do things all by yourself. That's the point. Yes, you as an executive president, you could, put one or two things in place, but not to pull money from. What is Jonathan being accused of today? That, he did certain things without, and some persons are being prosecuted in court. Okay, but what he did, and it was in the grounds of emergency. We didn't look at that. What is wrong is wrong. We have come up with an order of change. This is how we should do things, and which everybody applauded the President Muhammadu Buhari. Yes, this is a man of the people. This is what he really stands for, and this is what we believe in. I believe in it, and I support him. I don't like what Jonathan Goodluck had done, and we are not in support of that. But why is it coming back again? That's a big question. So when he leaves office, so somebody is going to come up tomorrow and take him to court and begin to prosecute persons for pulling money without, without due diligence. These are things we should do and we should know. You are talking of deadline. Do you know how many people have been killed over time? If we really, this deadline should have started from the very beginning. It shouldn't be now. On talk of deadline, we need time to pay. Why the hurry? Why the rush? Well, these things need to be explained. You don't just pull money. It's not from your room. It's not from your bank. It's not your money. These are money. These are common patrimony. It's our money. You should seek the Senate. You should seek all of them. You shouldn't just do that because you want to win the war or whatever. People have been dying. Yes. And I believe, honestly, this payment, most of the time, it's funny. It's really, really funny. I'm not saying don't do the needful to help your people. You don't just do things by yourself. Maybe some other persons who can negotiate better. What they are telling you is not the right thing. You should seek other people's opinion. I've been in a position like that I've almost released funds, but on a second thought, trying to communicate to other persons, they say, don't pay. We have it. There's a way you can do it. I had the time I had some, vehicle broke down and we need to work on the vehicle. And I already got the money. I was happy. Let me go and pay. And then on the second thought, I said, let me just relate it with some other persons. They said, no, don't do that. Say what you will just do. And on a very far cheaper rate, it might just be desirous to help the killings, to stop it, to abate it. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. But you cannot go against the Constitution. You cannot go against what ordinarily should be done. In as much as we celebrate him as our president, I love him passionately. He's a great leader. I have seen his exploits in time past in Nigeria. He's a man that must be celebrated. I celebrate Muhammadu Buhari, but I don't support him pulling money.
Thank you. You've said that you are a political analyst, Frank, and I think I would need your very fair analysis in this respect. Looking at what we have here as the executive head, as the #1 citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in the face of emergency, as we can see, resulting to the deadline given by the American government at which this money must be paid. Do you fault the process taken by the president?
It's I can't just give the one concept fits all answer right now. Let me situate the narrative. As I was trying to build the concept earlier with reference to the general complaints, the foundation you lay determines the kind of structure you build. Now, in this case, the National Assembly that is complaining about that withdrawal, where were they when ECA was formed? The excess could account. The controversy concerning ECA isn't now, since it was OBJ that formed it. OBJ was the one that formed that account. Now, it was a quick fix. It was a negation of justice as far as federalism is concerned. At some point in time, some governors even took the federal government to court interrogating that account. But the normal political arrangements at all, in quotes, now we just settle it. I like what is going on. For me, the president took a step. He paid monies for the good of the country. Fortunately,
for the good of the country. Agreed.
I watched the senator representing those who were speaking yesterday, emphasizing the fact that it was a noble cause. That what he was interrogating was the process.
Okay.
He didn't go through whatever process. Now, he was talking about the fact that it used to happen in the past. Doesn't mean that it should happen presently. My question is this: if it used to happen in the past, has there been law enacted to stop the possibility of it happening? It is said of in scriptures that when there is no law, there is no sin. If the laws are not adjusted and not reviewed relevantly to address the issue, 20 years time, what we are talking about, we see come on here, we are arguing over such frivolities.
Yes.
So here I'm saying that rather than address the core issues, it now becomes a matter of convenience for the legislators to complain when it seems as if the president at the center doesn't pander towards them on certain note. I'm not in support of the fact that things shouldn't go, things should go outside the ambit of the rule of law. But in this case, they shouldn't be tested in the court of laws. That is my point. ECA is a negation of the concept of federalism. All this stuff we are talking about, There are small issues.
Okay, but in summary, you are in support of the president.
In support of the president. In my personal opinion,
yes,
I support his action in an attempt to ensure that there's peace in the country.
Okay.
I'm not very detailed about the complexity of the process, but from the little I know, that's why I told you just now, that this ECA thing, I say when there's no law, there's no sin. If I'm in charge, once there's an allowance,
yes,
anybody can exploit it, because if you go to the court of laws, they will tell you that what he did, you may say is wrong, but how do you prove that it's wrong when there's no law that says it's wrong,
okay,
or that puts a check on it? Why was there an ECA account in the first place?
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. We will be running off at this time so that we can also take another segment. Bishop Austin, as we round off, what is your projection as a parting shot in all of this we've said?
Yes, my own is that I want to beg us that we should try and do things properly. You cannot use illegality to fight illegality. So let us try as much as, and this makeup, this cosmetic way of painting somebody we love, even when the person is wrong and is doing something that is against the law of the land, this way of packaging it, let us stop this spirit. It won't help us. It will not help this country.
Thank you. Patrick.
Thank you very much. I honestly believe Nigeria is a great country, and we have great leaders. You know, we have laws in this country. If there were no laws, Sambo Dasuki would not be prosecuted today. There are many, many of our laws that are there, and we know. So we honestly believe that leaders, at whatever capacity they find themselves, they should operate within the ambits of law and learn to respect courts' orders and judgments. That will be all.
Thank you. Well, Frank Wilson, like what Donald Trump said, Nigeria is known now for having a massive reputation in fighting corruption. That's on a good note. So, conclude on that.
You are quoting what you are talking.
Conclude on that.
What my great colleagues have said.
Yes.
I'm not in support of a process that contravenes what is right.
Yes. Look
at my point. When Philip Montesquieu made his enunciation on the doctrine of separation of powers over 200 years ago, they were fundamentally outlined. It's a guaranteed checkmate. That's why you have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. It's to guarantee checkmate. In my opinion, the lawmakers should make laws to ensure that the executive is checked. Everybody is put in perspective as far as doing what is right for the good of all and sundry. That's what matters.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Frank Hilson, a political analyst, erudite, and vibrant. Many thanks, Patrick Awosaige. Awosaige is a doctor and also a legal practitioner. Thank you for being part of this show. And of course, Bishop Austin Igbasan, who is the General Overseer of Sword of Liberation Bible Church. In spite of your busy schedule, you took time to be part of this. Many thanks for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Well, it's still this morning on ITV. It goes on. Don't you go away.